I'm not expecting a whole lot of people to be here on Saturday night because I am expecting them to be out and about. But as you know, I had to change my day for my streaming. Can everyone hear me okay? If I can get a 5 by 5, that would be awesome. Or if you could see me, I know the lighting's a little strange today. Hello, Maria. Hello, Vision. Thank you for being here. Marco, thank you for being here. Virginia Bushcrafter, thank you for being here. Mickey Gunwall, hello. Nice to see you in here. Are you messing with me? Can you guys hear me? I don't trust Marco on this one. I'm just going to do a mime show the whole time and use my hands to show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes here for some people to come in. If anybody does come in, if you can share out the stream, because a lot of people don't know my day changed for my streaming schedule. I'm trying to still figure out when is the best time on Saturdays to stream because I don't want to step on any other creators' toes and stream at the same time that they do because that's just not a nice thing to do. Okay, so today we're going to talk about this is kind of more for the newer preppers, this conversation. So, those of you that have been prepping for a while, if you want to add to the conversation, please do. You're more than welcome. Um, but I want to say we started prepping heavy probably about 2.5 years ago, roughly. And we had the basics down for like bad weather because I've lived in different areas of the United States. So we've always prepared for like snowstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes, so forth. I've never really lived in a place that had major earthquakes. We've had small earthquakes, but not the big ones like they get in California. But all the other weather instances, we've always prepared for or for changing jobs or whatever normal problems that come about with people, illnesses, so forth. So we really just started prepping really heavy about 2.5 years ago, and as I was researching, because we stepped into high gear on prepping, we hello freedom fighter, welcome. um, we decided to do our research online like most preppers. We went and searched for different channels, and we're kind of trying to figure out where to start so that we could go on high speed as far as what we need to do. And almost every channel out there, and if you're a new prepper, you've seen this. All of them tell you to buy beans, rice, and water, and to just buy pounds and pounds and pounds of beans and rice and water. And though I agree with the water, if you can store water, that's great. If you can't have a way to purify it, um, you can always use old empty bottles to store your water. But there's different ways of purifying, and we'll go into that in another video. But beans and rice is a good thing to have. You should have some beans and rice, but to have, some of them are 300 pounds of beans and rice. Um, if you're just going to eat beans and rice and you're worried about the war out there, let me just tell you, if you eat enough beans, you're going to have a war within your own home. Um, I definitely would not want to be stuck in the house with people that are eating nothing but beans. And I am sure you all can completely agree with that, um, especially if you can't escape. Or, some of the married couples out there, they try to trap each other under covers in that scenario. So you don't want your whole house eating nothing but beans. Beans is good for fiber and protein, and it's a very filling thing. So I do recommend getting beans as far as dried beans. You can get canned beans, but you should get different types of beans. So you want to get like the kidney beans and the split peas and so forth because you want to be able to use these beans for different things, whether it be chili or like a 5 bean soup or Jody, hello, hun, welcome. Ladybug, hello. Um, you want to be able to use your beans for different things. Um, the black bean dips, just diverse different types of beans. Um, Rice is always a good filler as well. It's also a good carb for quick energy. It's something you should definitely have on hand. You can use for different things, but for new preppers, you don't want to just buy beans and rice. You are going to get bored off of it. Um, you want to go out, and they also say go out and buy MREs, stack MREs. MREs are good, but anyone in the military will tell you, or who has eaten them, will tell you if you eat enough MREs, you are not going to poop for weeks. And I'm not trying to be gross, but it's true. It will bind you up if you're going to live off of nothing but MREs. So I wouldn't suggest only stocking MREs either. You need to make sure that you have a very diverse pantry. And you need to make sure that things in your pantry are things that you are going to eat. So, for instance, someone like Angry Prepper, even though spam is a great thing to stock, he is absolutely not going to have a whole closet of spam because he absolutely hates it. He won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I think he would rather eat bugs than he would eat spam, to be honest. He just has a complete hatred. If you've watched his videos, he cannot stand it. But some people like it, so you can store that. But you also want to make sure that you have different different things to where you can make multiple things. So, for instance, you want to have one of the things that's good to store, and a lot of people don't realize this, is you can go to your feed store and you can get a 50-pound bag of like whole corn. And that whole corn is going to last you a while, and it's something that can be used in multiple things. So if you have a grinder, I suggest a hand grinder, not an electric grinder, in case the electricity goes out. You can make yourself some flour. You can make yourself grits. You can make yourself cornbread. You can make tortillas. There are so many things that you can make from a 50-pound bag of whole corn, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of space, even though it's kind of heavy. It's going to last you a long time, and you can use it in so many different things. Same thing with flour. You can make biscuits, you can make bread, you can make cakes, you can make pie crusts. One single ingredient can make multiple different varieties of foods that you eat. Another thing that is very smart to store is either you can freeze your eggs or buy dehydrated eggs. And I prefer the whole dehydrated eggs because not only can you use them in breakfast and baking, but something that is a feel good food for me is quiches. So I can make a lot of quiches for next to nothing, and I can put any ingredient in it that I want to or that my family wants. And it's a nutritional type thing. It's got a lot of calories, and it's just a quick fix food. Um, but you just want to go ahead and make sure that you have things that have multiple uses, not just beans and rice. Um, you want to make sure also that you have spices. A lot of people forget about the spices. You're gonna have your canned foods, and I kind of shy away from a lot of the canned foods because they're very high in sodium. If you have high blood pressure, the ready-made foods, the emergency foods that are already prepared, a lot of them are high in sodium as well. Canned foods are high in sodium for preservation. You got to learn how to do your own preservation and storage for foods by canning or dehydrating and then dry storing yourselves because you don't have all that sodium and all those chemicals in there that preserves it, but you can still preserve them for the same amount of time. Also, with canned foods, after a while, you get that tin flavor. So I kind of tend to shy away from having a whole lot of canned foods. And if you do have canned foods, I recommend that you rotate them often. Not because they'll go bad, but just because, after a couple, 2, 3 years, you're going to start getting that tin flavor in your food. And it's very hard to get rid of if you can get rid of it. We've tried a few methods with vinegar to get rid of that tin flavor, and it didn't work very well. So definitely try to store your own foods, stock your own foods, preserve your own foods without all the chemicals or the sodium in them. Um, Another thing too is your condiments. A lot of people don't think about condiments, and I'm not talking about just ketchup, mustard, and barbecue sauce and hot sauce. Everybody pretty much probably stores hot sauce because it's just amazing. But you also, if you like things like I don't know, like shrimp scampi. You wanna make sure that you have the cooking wine that goes with it. If you make something like, chicken marsala, you wanna make sure you have those cooking wines that go with it, because you're not gonna want to waste your actual wines in cooking if you don't have to, because those could eventually be bartering items, or they could be things that will help you, for lack of better words, ease the stress levels, if you need a drink here and there. And I'm not recommending that, but that is something that you want to have for those reasons, and not cooking, when they have cooking items that you can use that don't have that alcohol content but still have that flavor. You want to make sure that if you are going to make breads and have the stuff to make breads, that you also store yeast. And yeast has to stay cool, um, in a cool, dry place. A lot of people keep it in the fridge, but if you keep it sealed and all the air out of it, you can buy it like that. You can buy it in bricks. You can store it on the shelf, as long as whatever shelf you store it on is stays cool. And on the darker side, you don't want direct sunlight on it because it will kill your yeast. But if you don't have yeast, you can make bread that doesn't have yeast. It's just flatbread. It's no different than the flatbread that you buy in the stores. Excuse me. Um, I'm missing a whole lot of people here. Um, Hi Terry, welcome. I'm just gonna say hi to a few people real quick, guys, because I know I'm really bad with chat. Um, Freedom Fighter, freeze dried for long-term storage of meats. Yes, you can do that. Actually, beef jerky, that's another thing. You want to make sure you have your feel-good foods. Popcorn is another thing that a lot of people forget. A lot of people, their go-to comfort food is popcorn, or their midnight snack thing is popcorn. Potato chips is another thing that you want to make sure you have. Those feel-good comfort foods when you're just down and you're depressed. You want to be able to go get those foods off the shelf that just make you feel good, and you say, heck with the world, I'm eating this junk food because it's amazing, and I don't care if I get fat. Like, I don't care if I'm not feeling good and I want to eat a whole bag of chips, I'm going to eat a whole bag of chips. My preference is chips and salsa, but salsa, that's another thing that you can use in multiple recipes to to cook with. So buy your stuff to make salsa, can your stuff, or can salsa yourself. Excuse me. My throat is really dry. I'm so sorry. Honey is another thing that people can use for different purposes, and it's also used for medicinal purposes. If you have a dry throat, perfect example. Drink some warm lemon water and some honey. Also, if you have chest congestion, lemon water and honey. These are all different things that you should have on your pantry besides just beans and rice to make yourself feel good. I have a whole small little bookshelf that just has different spices, even if it's just dried ranch dressing, um, soy sauce. Soy sauce is another thing that a lot of people overlook. Worcestershire sauce. All these spices and these cooking liquids and um, sauce packets that you would normally use, you want to make sure you set those aside, because if you just have plain bland food, it's going to keep you alive, but you're going to be miserable. If your food doesn't taste good, you're going to be miserable. And you want to try to keep the morale up within the family to keep going because if people just think life sucks, they're not going to want to keep going. Um, Roaming prepper, welcome. Let me see. I know I've missed a couple people here. Oh, Freedom Fighter, did you get a dehydrator or a freeze dryer? I thought you said a dehydrator, but oh, you got a freeze dryer. Okay. I wish I could get a freeze dryer. I wish I could afford one. That if y'all can get a freeze dryer, that is a great purchase, but they're very pricey, but they will pay for themselves very, very quickly. Yeah, Marco said you still need some salt intake to stay hydrated. Don't cut it out completely. Salt is another thing you should keep on your shelf um, for preservation and for flavoring, marinating. Um, Also, another medicinal thing for like sore muscles, so forth. Vision, did you ask a question? I missed it. If you did, can you put it again? Gravy packets. Jody, yes. Actually, gravy packets is also a good thing. And they also have big containers that you can buy gravy in, different types of gravy, whether it be turkey or beef or whatever, chicken or bouillon. They have big old containers that you can buy of bouillon that will last a good bit, and then just a little bit of flour. Um, oh, corn, whole corn. Another thing you can do is cornmeal, grits, um, cornbread. I think I already said cornbread. I love cornbread. Freedom Fighter says he mixes 30% white salt with 70% Himalayan salt to avoid hypertension. We actually use only Himalayan salt when we cook because a lot of the other foods that you buy already have the white salt in it for the sodium. Also, a lot of your drinks have the sodium in it, the required sodium amount that you need in your normal nutrition values. Salad dressing. Now, a lot of those salad dressings you can make yourself. You can buy the dry ingredients, including powdered milk is another thing that you should keep stored because you will use it in baking, you'll use it for drinking, so forth. Hey, love. Welcome. I hope your moving is going well. I saw your video today with your turkey. She's so adorable. I'm just quickly going through some messages here because I'm terrible with them. Old Mutt, hello. Hope you're doing well. I see you keep working on your trailer. That's awesome. I have a drink. It just keeps, I don't know. I have a tickle in my throat. My assistant just brought me some water. Okay. Powdered cocoa. Winter Homestead says, and if y'all don't know, Winter Homestead used to be Angry Homesteader 2. And she's having some issues. When she changed her handle, it changed her channel name, and now it won't give her her old channel name back. So she is now Winter Homestead. If you were subscribed, you should still be subscribed. But just know if you see her videos, Winter Homestead's videos, it's actually Angry Homesteader 2. She just had to change her name. Powdered cocoa. Powdered cocoa is also good, not just for hot chocolate, but you can make brownies, pancakes, chocolate cakes. It's one of those things that can be used for multiple items. All you need is Spam. Big B, hello. I love Spam. My house actually likes Spam. Don't unsubscribe because of that, but Spam can be used for a lot of things too. You can do it with breakfast. I grew up with Spam and eggs, and I'm sure a lot of you guys did too. My husband grew up with Spam and rice, which I actually never tried until this year. I thought it was the strangest thing ever, but it was actually really, really good. Cottage cheese. Some people Here in South Carolina, they eat it with fruit. I thought that was also the strangest thing because I always grew up with mine with salt and pepper. Um, I haven't actually been able to eat it with fruit yet because I still think that's too strange. All right, Freedom Firefighter. I prepared a 20 by 30 area for 6 foot tall, 4 foot round potato towers. It'll be my main staple food. Yep, and potatoes is something that if you have the right atmosphere, even indoors, you can grow potatoes year round. I actually just pulled a big old sweet potato from my garden today. It was peeking up at me, so it was time to pull it. But my other ones are still growing. I still have stuff growing. I still have green peppers growing in my garden too, and spinach. Yep, lemon water and honey. It's very good, especially if you have allergies. Lemon water, lemons in general is one of those things that you should keep on hand as well because it can be used for not only cooking and clearing stuff up, but also as a gargle, sore throat gargle. Let me see. Deacon Prepper, hello, welcome. Yes, chili is a great thing. Okay, so we actually have a good bit of chili. I like chili for hot dogs, but I also have stuff to make chili. So even if we run out of the cans that we have, I have plenty of stuff to make homemade chili, homemade pastas. Um, Pasta is a good thing to store, and then your different types of sauces. Make sure you have the stuff to make the different kind of sauces. So just when you're storing something, think about something that you enjoy eating and what would go into it from scratch, and then put those things away. And then as you look at those ingredients, think of what else can you make. So for instance, chili, it's mostly beans and tomatoes. So, what else can you use your beans for? Um, like, what's that? Beans and like ham hocks. Go buy some ham hocks. There you have two different meals to make with your beans. Tomatoes, you can make spaghetti. So, go out and buy the stuff that you can make spaghetti also. So, everything you have should be able to be intertwined with something else to make a different type of meal. So that way you're not just stuck with a can of spaghettios or stuck with macaroni and cheese. You have different options depending on what you're in the mood for, how you feel, um, what you are needing, what you're lacking within. Most people, if they're lacking something in their body, they crave something. If you ever have a craving, your body is lacking something that is in that food, whether it be vitamin C or calcium or magnesium or whatever. Listen to your bodies, but make sure that your food, whatever you're craving, I mean, have that stuff to put that dish together. Yeah, that Facebook Live is lonely. I know. I don't have a whole lot of people on the Facebook, but I have a couple that watch and don't speak. So because they're very shy. But definitely a lot more chatty people here, which I love. I wish I knew how to slow down the chat. I like the picture behind you. Thank you, JD. I love that picture. It makes me feel like a safe space. Arkansas living. I have missed you. Where have you been? I hope that you are doing well. I have been really worried about you. I sent you an email reaching out because I hadn't heard from you in a while. So I'm so glad to see that you were on here and that you are okay. I wish I could catch up with you because you have been very heavy on my mind and very heavy in my prayers. I did watch your little pop gun thing. That was really cool. I don't think we have those trees here where I am. I experimented with the organic whole grains from ashore. Grains. Yep, that's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up. Grains is another thing that you should store because you can make multiple things with grains. Plus, oatmeal is really good in the morning, especially if it's cold. My mom used to tell me it would stick to my ribs. Um, Thank you, Marco, for putting Winter Homestead's link in there. Yep. So Vision said you have to mix different items to make the most and feed everyone. I don't know about feeding everyone. I'm not feeding everyone. That's a lot of people to feed. My family alone can put some food away. We can eat. We might be bite sized, pocket sized, but we can definitely put some food away. Armageddon preparedness, eating prosciutto and melon. I could see that. That would be kind of good. It probably tastes similar to the prosciutto and grapes. I love cheese and meats and fruits. Wisconsin farm boy. Hello. Good evening. Welcome. Okay, so freedom fighter is your first time growing it all winter. Are you growing it indoors or are you growing it outdoors? In Missouri. Another thing you guys can do too to help keep your fresh veggies, like your salads and stuff, going. And I have one of these, which I'll have to show it one of these times. I have an indoor, it's smaller. I have an indoor hydroponic system. So I can grow table onions, leafy vegetables, um, what else have I done it? Vine vegetables, which are a little harder to do because they they plug up the tubes, but it's small enough to where it can fit on a dining room table. But I can grow numerous different leafy vegetables, spinach and kale and lettuce, and then table onions grow like crazy. And what I like to do is I'll go to the grocery store and I'll buy a stock of table onions and I'll cut off the bottoms and I'll replant it, and they'll actually start shooting up more table onions. So most of your things that have the celery too, that have the roots already that grow out, you can cut off your tops to use it and put it in the hydroponic, your roots in the hydroponic. And you buy a bottle of nutrient for the water and a pump, and it just keeps recirculating the water and the nutrition for the plants. And that's something that you can have all year round in your house to keep having fresh salads. I'm still going through chat. All you really need is gravy and Tony's. I don't know what Tony's is. What is Tony's? You'll have to tell me what Tony's is. Or I might call it something else, but I don't know what Tony's is. Red Scout, hello, welcome. There is a picture behind me, Red Scout. I'm sorry, guys. I always apologize for taking so long. Um, okay, so I think I just answered this question with the microgreens indoors. Um, get yourself a little hydroponic system. Or actually, if you don't want to go through the whole getting the hydroponic system where it pumps the water yourself. And I also have a bubbler in there for like an aquarium bubbler for oxygen. Even though I don't need it, I would like them to have the extra oxygen. You can also go and buy a a little storage tub, and you drill holes in it that probably are about this big, and you can get a little plastic net and some you can either use clay pebbles or foam or pool noodles. Actually, a lot of people don't know this. I use pool noodles quite often. um, Pool noodles in there, and you can do your microgreens in there in the storage tub that you've drilled the holes in. You just have to make sure you have the nutrient in there and check your water often, because if it gets too warm, it'll start growing algae, and you don't want that. You're going to want to dump that out, clean it out real good without chemicals, and restart. But you got to make sure you have your nutrient in there, that your pH balance is correct for whatever you're growing, and you have enough water in there. Because if this starts getting too low, you're going to kill your microgreens. But it takes up a little space, and you can grow just about anything, almost anything like that. I'm going to say anything. I won't say anything, but just about anything. Um, Donna, hello, welcome. Freedom Fighter, I hope I answered your question. Fed Up American, hello, hon. Okay, no problem. No problem. I think service has been shady for a lot of people lately. It's been a lot of lagging and buffering, and I don't know, some weird's going on with all that. Tony is the only Cajun seasoning. Okay, I'm gonna have to look for it. I'm gonna have to look for it. I haven't heard of that before, but well, my husband likes spicy stuff. It depends on my mood. Sometimes I can eat spicy stuff and sometimes I can't tolerate it at all. It's really strange. And it'll be the same spice. But I'll definitely look for that. I still know people who won't buy more food than for 1 week. I'm starting to feel like Noah. Um, I understand what you're saying. Um, we know people that still only buy food for the night, for dinner, for that night. And we've all talked till we're blue in our face. And it's hard. It's hard to see what's coming, know what's coming, and people not listen. So if you have to make the decision, if these people are people that you are willing to help when it comes down to it. And honestly, we're at the point where you kind of have to draw that line now, because if you don't draw that line now, um, you're not going to be able to make that decision later. And it's a very hard decision to make, but your family should always come first. But if you are willing to help people, like we do have family that we will help, that we do stock away for, even though they don't know it, that we will help. But there are people that we love to death, but we have been talking for 2 years and they don't want to put anything away. And if they knock on my door, I'm gonna have to turn them away, unfortunately. And I don't really want to do it, but my family has to come first. Deacon Prepper. I eat a whole lot of salad and I also eat a whole lot of carbs. And yeah, bread and butter, homemade bread. So, true story. My uncle used to take me to a pizza place when I was younger, and he started calling me a rabbit because I could have any pizza I wanted and I would always order just the salad bar. Um, so, he nicknamed me Rabbit because of it. Um, and then when he passed years later, he has a little rabbit on his site. Um, that's a part of me there with him. I eat a lot of salad. You should be eating your salads. Eat your vegetables. They are good for you. Plus, they're yummy. I have limited winter growing space, about 12 by 20, so I need to choose carefully. Okay, so freedom, firefighter. A lot of your things that you grow, you can also grow in hanging pots in your house. And I don't know if you know this, but a lot of those things you can grow 'em in hanging pots. You can grow in buckets. You can grow in the little storage tubs. You can grow in hydroponic. You can actually grow in like empty bottles when they're empty, cut off the top, and you can grow some things in here to where it will come out. There's different ways to grow multiple things in small spaces. But if you're choosing carefully on what you grow things that are very diverse that you use in multiple meals that you use. So say you eat a lot of pastas, grow tomatoes. If you eat a lot of french fries or mashed potatoes, grow potatoes, of course, because you can also make potato bread. You can make your bread. I don't know if y'all ever knew that. Potato pancakes, potato bread. Yummy. I'm making myself hungry and I just ate not that long ago. Okay, good. I'm glad I answered. Oh, geez, my chat is jumping. Mm, yes, Outlaw, he is. He is a hot tamale, but he's mine. You can't have him unless I'm at work. And then if you want to borrow him for a little while, you're more than welcome. I've been hunting, still nothing. Okay, what have you been hunting for? And maybe I can help you or someone in the chat can help you find something. Mm, same here. Family first. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, bone broth. Okay. Thank you, Marco. Sorry, Maria. Um, bone broth. I think if you get the less sodium, it depends if you have high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure or if you have any types of heart conditions, I would highly suggest you try to can your own foods or dehydrate your own foods. Bone broth is actually super, super easy to make yourself. And if you have a butcher shop, you can go to a local butcher shop and you can ask them if they have any, whatever bone you're looking for, ham bone or um, chicken bones, so forth. Because some of them, when they cut like the chicken breast off the bone, they'll have the bones stored away in the freezer. Same thing with your grocery stores. A lot of them won't put that stuff out, but if you ask them if they have any still stored away, they will go back in the back and bring it to you. And you can either boil it down on your stove, or you can actually put it in your crock pot and fill it up with water and then just can it and store it away yourself. I make my own bone broth at home and it is delicious. Not trying to toot my own horn, but it is very good. In my area, Walmart has Idaho and instant mashed potatoes on sale for like 123 a bag. I doubt it will ever be cheaper. I love those potatoes. They used to be where you could buy four for $1, and no, I don't think they'll ever get cheaper. But they are so good. I love all their flavors, especially their applewood bacon one. Oh, that is the best, and the loaded, the best. My dad called it bunny food. It was bunny food. It's probably why my uncle named me Rabbit. Loved it. They aren't yummy unless you smother them in butter. Well, you should smother them in butter because then at least you're still getting your veggies. Potato pancakes. They are good. They are so good. And they're very easy to make too, and filling. And I think they probably stick to your ribs too. Okay. I'll be growing in all 5-gallon buckets so I can rotate the plants towards the sunlight. The sun is fairly low on the horizon in the winter where I'm at. Make sure you get food grade buckets so that none of those chemicals bleed into your soil for your plants to suck up. And also, I would suggest that you get a liquid nutrient so that if the plants draw all the nutrient in, all you have to do is water the top of your soil and it'll go down and um, still have the nutrition in the soil after it's already eaten it all up. You can also put them, if you don't water them all the time or you don't have time to water them all the time, you can put them, drill holes in the bottom and put them in some sort of like, say, a cat litter pan and put water in that. And then they will self water um, themselves too if you are bad at watering plants like I am. Oh, yep, yep. Outlaw Jackson. That's another thing. Protein powders and meal drinks. Um, they're not just for old people. If you can put like the Boost or I don't even know if they make it anymore. It's called 2 Cal. And Outlaw, I wasn't calling you old, by the way. I know you're laughing at that. I think it's called 2 Cal, but I want to say it's like 800, or it used to be like 800 calories per drink, which is a good backup as well. Your protein powders are also a good backup if you just need a quick fix to get through part of your day, or they're very filling. I mix my protein powders in milk, and there's tons and tons of different flavors. They actually have a coffee flavor that I like a lot. You can get fruity flavors, you can get regular chocolate flavors. I'm not big on the chocolate stuff, but those are definitely good things to stock. Also, drinks that have electrolytes or packets that have electrolytes, so that um, water is good, but you still need electrolytes, and a lot of people don't realize how important electrolytes are for the body. You can drink too much water and not have electrolytes. And I have actually done this once. I was upping my water and I wasn't doing electrolytes and started having chest pains, and I didn't know what the heck was going on. And I actually ended up, my electrolytes dropped pretty darn bad. So now I know that that is a sign when I don't drink enough electrolytes or get enough electrolytes. Um, so make sure you store up on Powerades or Gatorades or the liquid IV, something like that, in case your electrolytes drop. Um, it's very important. Your body needs, and that's where you can get your sodium too. Is in those electrolytes. Vitamins. Make sure you have vitamins. Um, Another thing is, and I recommend these. They are called emergency bars, I believe, and they are emergency food bars. And the ones that I buy actually taste like cookies. I like them a lot. They come in only two flavors though that I'm aware of, and it's cinnamon or coconut. And each bar is 3,600 calories. And because they are packed so small, um, I was thinking I might actually have some in here. I do. They are so small that they can fit in your get home bag or in your go bag. And each bar is 3,600 calories. So you can eat one of these bars. I don't recommend only eating this, but if you have to, you can eat one of these bars and have all of your calories for the day. And they're almost like a texture of like a snickerdoodle cookie. Um, but the brand is SOS Food Lab, SOS Emergency Food Ration, and you can get them on Amazon. They're not expensive at all. I recommend them, and I'm not supported by any of these things that I ever tell you guys or affiliated or anything like that. I'm not. I don't have anything. I'm not monetized. None of this. I just want you guys to have what you need um, to stock away, to store away, and not just listen to buy beans and rice. Please don't just buy beans and rice. Please, unless you want to be gas powered yourself. I know gas is running out, but that doesn't mean that you have to be gas powered yourself. Dr. Pepper. Did you see my close? I have Mr. Pibb, but yeah, Dr. Pepper is good too. Coffee. Coffee is another thing. Please store coffee, y'all. If you're coffee drinkers, even if you're not coffee drinkers, store coffee, because there are enough people that are addicted to coffee that if it comes to bartering, I guarantee that somebody will give you something good for coffee if they have not had coffee for a while. Coffee is a great bartering item. So are cigarettes. Even if you don't smoke, store away cigarettes. If you alcohol, even if you don't drink, unless it's a temptation, store away alcohol. And I personally think it's smart to buy the little mini bottles, because you're not going to want to hand out a whole liter to somebody for, a bag of rice. Rice. You should already have rice. Um, what did I miss? Did I miss anything? Growing in buckets. So, Joe, the thing about growing in buckets is you have to make sure you have the right amount of sunlight. You have to make sure that you have the right amount of drainage for them. And if you don't have good sunlight, you need to get grow lamps. And then, like I said, get the liquid nutrient so that you can just water them once a week or once every couple weeks with the nutrient, which it's very, very concentrated. So if you buy a big old bottle, it's going to last you a long time, a long time. Keep them for a month. Nice. Gonna be a cat fight. Marco says he's gonna smack you. I'm gonna have a cat fight in my chat. What is Pib drink? A Pib Extra is a different brand of basically Dr. Pepper, but they don't have Dr. Pepper where I work. They carry Pib, which is cherry soda. It says spicy cherry soda, but it's not spicy. Another thing we have down here is Cheerwine, and I wish Hudson was in here. He would tell you all about it. Cheerwine is a local, it's a southern thing, and it's super yummy. Coffee has everything the body needs. Coffee is my breakfast every morning. I love coffee. Um, yes, exactly. You can't drink just water, and you can actually drink too much water too. Um, don't just drink water. It's not bad. It's not good for you. They actually taste okay. I'm still going through. I'm trying to catch up. Never heard of Mr. Pibb. Where are you at? Um, Donna, where are you located? Are you in Europe somewhere? I'm just curious since you had never heard of Mr. Pibb. Those are the brand that the Coast Guard uses. I did not know that. The SOS brand I'm going to assume you're talking about. They're great. I like them. I don't get a sweet tooth too often, but most of my sugar, which is actually stevia, goes in my coffee. Mickey says beans, the musical fruit. Yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, if your whole house is eating nothing but beans, you don't need to be about the war outside. You need to worry about the war inside and the toxic gases and the fallout. Because I think that will probably be more deadly than what would be outside at that time. Learn how to grow tobacco and brew beer, and make alcohol. Um, Actually, it's kind of easy. Well, I don't know about beer. I haven't done beer, and I'm sure growing tobacco isn't that hard. But actually, making your own wines and old school liquors is actually not hard either. Um, there's lots of videos on that. That's probably not something a video that I will be able to do because I've got 10 tons of other things that I have on a list that I want to do. But definitely look up how to make your own wines and your own alcohols because they will become very precious when it comes down to things running out and people's needs for different reasons. Hello, Morning Light. Welcome. Yep, great bartering item winner. Fuel. All right, where are we at on time? We are at 49 minutes already. Wow. Um, yep, there you go. Mr. Pibb is Coke's version of Dr. Pepper. And Pibb Extra has extra caffeine. And I needed it today because not only do I have my Mr. Pibb, I also have my Monster. I've been sleepy. Very, very sleepy. Hmm. Do they still make that? Beano? I remember the commercials for that. That's funny. I remember the old Mylanta commercials, like the old school commercials. I remember all those. That's so funny. I didn't think they still made Beano. Yeah, make sure you have all that stuff in your medical. I know this was all beans and rice, but now that we're talking about beans and rice and gas and constipation, make sure that you have all that in your medical cabinet too. Not just your Tylenols and your cold medicines, but make sure that you have things for other ailments, not only that you have, but that you could have in the future or that you could have getting older. Um, and when I say that, I'm talking primarily to the females. Depending on how old you are, you might have Midol now, but you might need something for menopause later. So make sure you have that to look ahead. Um, Make sure you have, I can't think, eye drops, sinus medicine, sinus sprays, toothache stuff, things that you don't or may not encounter every day. Just think of everything that could happen. Um, Make sure you have those medicines and or medicinal equivalent, which I'm going to be showing. Um, I was supposed to make a video today to post for you guys. I'll probably work on it tomorrow to make a couple of homemade salves for skin conditions. And also, I think I'm going to make an oregano salve for to help people get over colds. In case you don't have Vicks to put on your feet, you can put an oregano salve, which sounds silly, but it works. They are going to blow each other away. Pun completely intended. Just tried to get you to take Beano and you wouldn't take it. She'll get even one of these days. I used to run when my uncles would tell me that. My uncles were little practical jokers. You sound like one of my uncles. Um, but they used to be practical jokers. So um, my uncle used to tell me when I was younger. My mom used to have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful long hair that it was so curly and so long and it went past her waist. And I would just be in awe. And then he would follow it. And then she shaved under her arms. That was the kind of jokes that my uncles used to tell me. Yeah, that's what I grew up with. I wouldn't have given it up for the world. Yeah, Bobo, there's actually a lot of herbs that can do that. But you got to be careful because there's also a lot of foods that have estrogen, and it is not good for men or women. Um, so be careful how much estrogen or foods that you buy that increase estrogen. Oh, that was weird. My screen just flickered. I don't know if y'all saw that. That was strange. They do have Beano. Okay, so Freedom Fighter, I am going to get a hold of your girlfriend and tell her that she needs to buy some more and slip it into your drink when you tell her to pull your finger. Yeah, it kind of did. Kind of goes hand in hand with beans, though. It's terrible. I have such a squirrel mentality sometimes. You did see it. Okay. Well, we were talking about beans and gas kind of go together. And yeah, don't. Okay, we can go back to beans. All right, guys. Anyways, just make sure that you don't just stock up on beans and rice. Buy things that you can expand. Make sure you have the right oils, vinegars. You don't want to live on beans and rice. Make sure you have stuff that makes you happy, comfortable, easy to make, very diverse. Things to flavor. And apparently ghost pepper oil to keep people in line. Get yourself some Carolina Reaper. It's hotter than the ghost pepper. Chocolate, comfort foods, and chocolate can be used for a lot of things. Make sure you have your baking sodas and baking powders. Syrup. Trying to think. Different pastas. Cheeses you can freeze, but if you buy a block cheese, it's going to come as a different texture. It's going to be more crumbly when you thaw it, but you can wax your cheeses and put them on a shelf in cold and dark places, or cool and dark places. Um, you have meat like ham bits and ends that are shelf stable that you can flavor soups with or casseroles. Make your own bone broths or store bone broths. Make sure you have different types of shelf stable milk. So if you can't get powdered milk, make sure you have evaporated milks, condensed milks, um, coconut milks, just different kind of milks to use for different things. Make it diverse. Um, Make sure you have things in your pantry that if you run out of pet food, you're able to feed your pets. And do your research if you have pets on what pets can eat and not eat, because there are a lot of things out there that we eat that are poisonous, like garlic, onions. Bread is actually not good for dogs, even though they love it. Um, but there are things that are good for them, like carrots and peas and pumpkin, not spiced pumpkin, just regular pumpkin. And being that Thanksgiving is coming here soon, after Thanksgiving, a lot of these things you can stock up on. Uh, Vinegars, might have already said that though. Mayonnaise, stock up on mayonnaise because you can use that in a lot of things. Print out a lot of your recipes. Whatever you like to eat, make sure you have a printed recipe because if you are ever not there to make it, you want your family to be able to make it as well because it's food that they're used to and that will make them feel good. Yes, they have actually cheese wax. You can buy cheese wax in bricks. And I believe it comes in, well, I know it comes in red and white. And I want to say, oh, yeah, and yellow, red, white, yellow, black. And there are different purposes for the colors. It actually marks the kind of cheese it is. If you want to try to wax your own cheese, I would suggest you do not use, or you can use soft cheeses like mozzarella's, but it's a lot more difficult. So if you're going to try to wax cheeses, your own cheeses, I would start with the harder cheeses like cheddar, um, Parmesan, because they are much easier to wax. Soft cheeses, it's as soon as you put it in the wax, it kind of like mozzarella will stretch. So um, it's something you definitely try and store your own cheeses to free up room in the freezer. Um, I can't really think of anything else. I just really wanted to talk to you guys about don't just stock rice and beans. Please don't just stock up rice and beans for the sake of the families that are stuck in the household with you. Stock up things that you enjoy. Make sure you have stuff for sweet tooths to make sweet stuff. Um, Candies, chips, popcorn. Chips are not going to stay on your shelf for a long time, though, guys. The oil goes rancid, so make sure you rotate those often. Sodas, juice, things that make you feel good. Unfortunately, Joe, you're probably pretty close to right, but that's why we're here to try to help people. Try to at least point them in the right direction and get them started in the right direction. Yeah, it's exactly like the Baby Bell wax, but you buy it in a brick. It literally comes in a brick, and you melt it in a double boiler, and you take your cheese and you have to dry it out. You have to put it on a like a wooden rack for at least 24 hours to try to get as many of the oils out as possible. And then you drop it in some vinegar to make sure it gets the rest of the oils off. And then you very evenly and carefully layer your cheese in the wax and then set it aside, let it dry, and then do a second layer evenly and set it aside. It's wax for the cheese. Mojo asked if it's wax from the cheese or for the cheese. It's actually wax for the cheese, not wax from the cheese. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Morning Light. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And yes, please make sure that y'all stock up on condoms and birth control for real, because um, We don't want to bring more kids. If SHTF happens, we don't want to bring more kids into the middle of it. And if you are pregnant now and watching this, do everything you can to protect your children. Don't shelter them, teach them. Um, Teach them what's going on in the world and how to get through it. Teach them to be courageous and strong and have strength and to not be afraid, um, because hard times are coming and they need to know how to get through it. And if you shelter them from it, they are not going to get through it. Um, so I think, oh, one more. Hold on. I've done a dry one for 1 month of my stocks before. Just my stocks. Tell everyone to quadruple their water, however much they have, however much they think they need. Multiply it by 4. Yes. What I want to say on water too is a lot of people think that they're going to be able to just go get their water from rivers or rain. How am I going to word this? If what comes, what everyone thinks may be coming, a lot of your river water and a lot of your rain is not going to be drinkable. So I agree to stock up on your water as much as you can now in case the rivers, the ocean, the rainwater cannot be consumed because some things cannot be cleaned out. Um, yeah, probably not. Okay, so two more things I want to say. If there's no more questions, I'm at the 1 hour mark, but there's two more things I want to say. I want to do a couple of shout outs real quick. Yes, I am. I am. All right, so two things I want to say. First and foremost, most important, I want to wish my stepson a happy birthday. I was not going to do a live today, but we got home in time. So I want to wish him a happy birthday with many, many years to come. Um, he has and is growing up so fast, and he is an amazing kid growing into an adult very quickly, an amazing young man. And I am grateful to have another year with him. And I pray that he has many, many more. And if you all could maybe wish him a happy birthday in the chat, because I know he'll watch this, that would be amazing. And then my second shout out is I want to thank Ilea from Survival Games. If you have not seen her channel, she does game shows that ask survival questions. And she sent me a box, and I am very appreciative. She sent me a whole bunch of seeds from her garden and a whole bunch of herbs from her garden that she dehydrated and sent to me. And I truly want to thank her very much for doing that. It was my first box that I ever got, and I am grateful because it came from her garden and it came from the heart. And she's an amazing person. We've had many conversations. She's very smart. She's a lot of fun. We come from two very different backgrounds, but we have amazing conversations. So please check out her channel. Please support her. Um, she's just all around a great person, loves animals, very, very well rounded person. So definitely thank you, Ilea. When you watch this, I know that you're probably doing chores right now, but thank you very much for sending me that gift. I appreciate it wholeheartedly. and I'm grateful to have you in my life. And that's pretty much it, guys. We went from beans and rice to gas. So I am going to close this out and blow out of here. Mm, Much love, y'all. Mwah. Thank you for joining me. Good night and God bless.